Look at this, what it says here. Defense chief revamps German military to prepare for war. This is from Politico. The goal is to make the German military more efficient as it prepares for the challenge posed by an aggressive Russia. It's like we're back in the 1930s again. Aggressive Russia, Operation Barbarossa, and who helped Germany invade Russia in World War II? It was Finland. Finland was a very strategically important ally for Nazi Germany. And when Germany invaded Russia, Finland was there to help the Germans. So it makes you wonder why Russia is so concerned about Finland being a part of NATO. Now NATO is right next to Russia's naval armament right at the Kola Peninsula. If a nation who not even 100 years ago invaded your country was right next to you, right near your navy, you would be concerned about that. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius announced on Thursday a revamp of the country's military to make it fit for fighting. Now, it's very interesting. They say that Germany does not have the culture for war right now because it's been so complacent and so accustomed to living in comfort. Here's a question that I have. If Germany wants to make a military that is fit for war, it's going to have to change the culture. Think about this. How did America help maintain a militarist culture in American society? Toby Keith will put a boot up your ass. America number one. If you don't like America, then get the hell out. America is the best. We're bombing the shit out of the Middle East. We're bringing freedom to the world. All of this type of rhetoric was to serve a purpose. It was to maintain patriotism and to maintain support for the military. Everyone had a bumper sticker that said, I support the troops, I love the troops, blah, blah, blah. Now you don't really see that sort of thing in America because people have become disillusioned with the fact that there is a military-industrial complex that has a lot of power in the United States. It's very corrupt. And the fact that this military-industrial complex managed to destroy two countries. Israel, three countries, if you think about it. Well, Afghanistan was already messed up. But the American military-industrial complex managed to destroy Syria and Iraq. And so Americans are very, very suspicious, and rightfully so. But America had to do things to maintain a pro-military culture. How is Germany going to do this? And I think what's going to happen in Germany is you're going to start seeing certain directives, certain initiatives being done by the government to get Germans to become pro-military, to get Germans to become more militarist and patriotically militarist, I should add. So I think you're going to start seeing the society change and the policy of the state change in a way that it will want to influence its population to become more militarist. How it's going to do this, my guess is, this is my guess, there's going to be music that's going to be pro-German military. There's going to be posters, television commercials as well. Now, this is me putting on my conspiracy theory hat here. I could be completely wrong about this. But during the Cold War, the CIA had something called Operation Gladio. And Operation Gladio was a covert operation in which the CIA and multiple NATO intelligence agencies were involved in actually organizing terrorist attacks in the United States. And they actually carried them out. There were actual terrorist attacks that were carried out under the Gladio program. The terrorist attacks, the biggest of which was the Bologna massacre in the 1980s. And also another one was the Brabant killings that took place in Belgium, in which you had random people who were murdered by armed men with shotguns at grocery stores. These terrorist attacks were blamed on the left, and the purpose of blaming these terrorist attacks on the left was to get Europeans riled up and nationalistic against Russia. That was the whole point of Operation Gladio. So if Germany is going to try to change its culture to a more militarist one, I will not be surprised to see one day false flag attacks carried out in Germany to be blamed on Russia to get Germans militarist, to get Germans to become militaristic. I wouldn't be surprised to see that one day. Let's not forget, Hitler and his government did a false flag attack right before Germany invaded Poland. They got some terrorists, they got some German guys dressed up as Polish nationalists to take over a radio station that was right on the border between Poland and Germany. I think this is called the Steinwitz incident, I think, something like that. These German guys dressed up as Polish nationalists invaded a radio broadcasting station right near the Polish border. And then the German military went in there and they killed the terrorists. They got some poor soul, some poor Polish guy in his 40s, and they injected him with some kind of poison, killed him, and then they showed off his dead corpse for a photo op to make it seem as though the valiant German soldiers had killed Polish terrorists. The German press then presented the story as one of Polish terrorism, when in reality it was just a false flag attack conducted by the German government, and then the German government used it as a justification to invade Poland. My point is that governments have been doing false flag attacks for a very, very long time. And so who is to say that Germany will not pull something off like that again to get Germans to become more militaristic? Just saying, I can be completely wrong about this, but this is me, again, putting on my conspiracy theory hat. I'm going to take my conspiracy theory hat off and put it down, and we'll get back to reality here, okay? Operation Gladio has become Operation Muslim Brotherhood. Well, the Muslim Brotherhood was a CIA asset. I think it still is. The fact is that the Muslim Brotherhood did a revolution in Egypt and took over Egypt. You had Mohammed Morsi, who became the leader of Egypt. He was Muslim Brotherhood. Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt was being backed by Turkey and the United States. Thank God that there was a counter-revolution that overthrew Morsi, and now you have Mr. al-Sisi. And Mr. al-Sisi is much better than Mohammed Morsi. Thank God for that. I think the Russians were responsible for overthrowing Mohammed Morsi. What's interesting is right now you have these huge demonstrations taking place in Jordan, where you have tens of thousands of people protesting against the Hashemite kingdom. They're protesting against King Abdullah. You have supposedly Palestinian instigators calling for people to go out and stab Jordanian police officers, and then you have people throwing rocks at military vehicles. And the fact is that the Muslim Brotherhood is pushing and inciting these crowds against the Hashemite kingdom. They're trying to do a revolution. Now, the fact is that the United States backed the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. Is the United States backing a revolution against the Hashemite kingdom? That's the question. I don't know. What we do know is that the Muslim Brotherhood is behind the demonstrations against the Hashemite government in Jordan currently. Now, what could this mean? 50% of the Jordanian population is Palestinian. If the Palestinians manage to do a successful revolution and overthrow the Hashemites, and then what you will end up with is a Palestinian state in Jordan. That would give the Israelis the opportunity to push the Palestinians into Jordan, and the Israelis could then further recolonize the West Bank. They could resettle Gaza, put more settlements. Oh, and yes, the Israelis would then have free reign to exploit the natural gas and oil that is currently in Gaza. That's another thing that I want to point out too. This war in Gaza, is it really all about fighting terrorism? Well, the fact is that recently, natural gas and oil was discovered in Gaza, off the coast of Gaza. Just saying. Wouldn't be surprised to see one day Israel drilling for natural gas off the coast of Gaza after this war. Just saying. What was the strange thing that happened before using the bathroom? Nothing, actually. I just took a piss. I'm just talking right now. NASCAR received a lot of military advertising money. Yeah, but I remember I knew a woman who was in Iraq, and she told me, she said, when we were we were in our military base in Iraq, she said they would be playing Toby Keith's "We'll Put a Boot Up Your Ass" all day on the loudspeakers. I mean, that's just mental conditioning. I wonder if the EU imported so many Muslims in order to conscript them for war. That is a good observation. Let me show you guys something that I found out. I found this to be fascinating. Check this one out, guys. This is crazy. I saw this one today. Muslims in the German military to get their own chaplaincy. Oh, so they got all these young men from the Middle East, North Africa. They boosted up nationalism with their presence. Wouldn't surprise me to see one day there be a Muslim brigade within the German armed forces. Wouldn't be surprising at all to see that sort of thing. As the parliamentary commissioner for the German armed forces, or Bundeswehr, Eva Hogel is responsible for ensuring that the issues and needs of German soldiers get heard. In mid-March, Hogel presented her third annual report in her role as commissioner, and once again she pushed for a military chaplaincy for Muslims. No matter which political party has controlled the defense ministry when it comes to Islamic military pastoral care, the political line has remained the same for years. It's not possible. So there has never really been an Islamic chaplaincy in post-war Germany. In the Republic of Germany, there has never been an Islamic chaplaincy. Well, now they're going to give the Muslims their own chaplain in the military. I wonder why. I wonder why, guys. What's going on? What's going on? They got all these young men, I think, to a great extent, for young muscle in the military. But I also think they got these young guys to boost up nationalism, because a lot of Germans became very nationalistic after the migrant crisis. Like the SS Handjar joined with the Ustashi, that's correct. Cisgendered heteroformative Giga Chad says, do you support Israel in the war against Hamas? I don't support Israel, and I don't support Hamas. I think it's clay hitting clay. I think what Hamas did to Israel was evil, and I think that there are obvious war crimes that have been done by Israeli soldiers. And I think there's a lot of problems with Israel, too many problems with Israel for me to be a full-on Zionist. It's just very wacky for me. Israel does have a right to attack Gaza after the October the 7th massacre. Israel has a right to want to destroy Hamas, to overthrow Hamas, to defeat Hamas, vanquish Hamas. But that does not give Israel the right to snipe at civilians. I can't co-sign that. The aim is to restructure the Bundeswehr in such a way that it is optimally positioned even in the event of an emergency, in the event of defense, in the event of war. So not just defense, war, my friends. In other words, let's make Germany great again. Let's bring back the Wehrmacht, everybody. The new German military will be organized into 4 branches: the traditional army, navy, air force, as well as a new cyber. And this is one of the points I want to focus on here. Cyber and information space branch. Now let's go back to Israel, everyone. Let's go back to Israel. What have the Israelis been doing? What about Israel did I talk about? Lavender. Israel used what type of program to find targets? AI, an AI program that they call Lavender. They just put the information in. Lavender says, here are your targets, here's where they live, and then you go out and you kill them. If Germany wants to do another Holocaust, they want to kill Polish people because Poland pisses them off, not that difficult with Lavender. And I think when the Germans really update their AI military technology, I think the Germans are going to be using the same type of technology that Israel is using right now against Gaza to kill off Germany's enemies. Future Nazis screaming jihad into battle isn't really that strange, right? No, not really. The new cyber branch will be responsible for dealing with hybrid threats, etc., etc. The Army will now incorporate the Homeland Security Forces, while the Air Force will monitor the condition of its aircraft, etc., etc. The goal is to make the German military more efficient as it shakes off decades of low spending and prepares for the challenge posed by an aggressive Russia. Since Russia has called the European peace order into question, a special threat situation has arisen for Germany and its allies. So Russia's rising up. Germany needs to rise up. Here's another article from the Financial Times basically saying the same thing. Germany has unveiled the most sweeping military reforms since the Cold War, including the possible revival of national service. National service. Okay, bring back mandatory conscription as part of efforts to better prepare its armed forces to defend NATO territory. Guys, this is the revival of Germany. I don't know how clear it has to be, but I've been talking about this since the early part of 2016, the beginning of 2016, and most people have called me crazy. And every year, it gets clearer and clearer that I am correct in my assessment about Germany. Germany is reviving. It's coming back. And I don't know how clear it has to be for you guys to see what I'm seeing. It's not very difficult. I've been talking about this stuff for years, going all the way back to the beginning of 2016. And people just didn't believe me. I saw the migrant crisis and I thought, why is Germany bringing in all these migrants? And then I thought, wait a second. It's probably just to revive nationalism. And that's exactly what happened. It was to revive nationalism. They also saved 2 of them. I hate that those 3 hostages that could have been saved were killed. Can't excuse it, but I can't imagine being in that situation and dealing with that. The fact is that there was a military commander present, and he told the soldiers, don't kill this guy, and the soldiers killed him. They broke orders. And I think that this is a product of Israel's trigger-happy policy, the current trigger-happy policy of Israel. This is from Company Today. The majority sees peace and security in Europe under threat. 2/3, 67% currently consider this to be very strong or under severe threat. So they see peace and security. 67% of Germans see peace and security as being under severe threat. Compare that to back in 2019, it was much lower. According to a survey by Intratest for the ARD Germany trend that was published on Thursday, 30% consider peace and security in Europe to be less threatened or not threatened at all. Citizens' view of German membership in the European Union has improved over the past year. So the fact is that you have a majority of people in Germany saying that peace and security are under threat. So the population is very warm, I think, to the idea of reviving German military strength